I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. There is some good news on the China virus front, the coronavirus, the COVID-19 front. I remember telling you about this in the weekly news wrap-up last week. Chloroquine and Z-Pak, the ingredients, azithromycin, the main ingredient is Z-Pak, and chloroquine, which is an anti-malaria drug. More good news. Hundreds of patients have apparently been cured. This looks like it's more than too good to be true. It is true. It looks like they're going to have a way to really fight this, especially for the people who have the virus early on. But my next guest says, listen, the damage to the economy has been done. So there's some bad news there. It's not going to keep us from Judgment Day. I have Gerald Celente here with us now. Gerald Celente, the publisher of the Trends Journal. It went from a quarterly to a monthly, now a weekly for the same price. Gerald Celente, thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Oh, thanks for having me, Greg. You know how much I really appreciate all you do to keep the people informed and with the real news, not the junk hysteria that they keep putting out there, and the guests that you have that speak for themselves and think for themselves. And that's a very important message right now. People better start thinking for themselves and stop buying into the hysteria.
Well, this week, what a monkey show in Congress, in the Senate. I guess I didn't know that. I don't guess they teach this in the economics classes, that you can just print a bunch of money and you can have prosperity. Because Congress, I mean, went from 23 and change to now 25 and change. I don't know, $26 trillion in a day, as you were telling me in the pre-interview, that they have a deal to get things going. But is that, and the market's shooting up like a rocket, and it's more than 1,000, 1,500 points. Is that enough to turn it all around? Are we saved because Congress has now acted?
No, you call them monkeys. It's a monkey show, and there are a bunch of monkeys that are running the show. And it's not only in America, it's global, and that's what's important to think about. They just announced in India they're shutting down the place, population 1.3 billion people for 21 days, and everybody's making up the days, by the way. I'm going to close down the schools for 3 weeks. I'm going to close them down for 2 weeks. I'm going to close them down for a month. On and on and on. They're making this stuff up as they're going along. Never in the history of the world has the whole world, or most of the world, been shut down by politicians, destroying people's lives, their businesses. People are going to go bankrupt. You're going to see suicide rates increase. You're going to see crime escalate, depression levels, people ODing on drugs. In New York, we got this little boy over here, an arrogant daddy's boy, I should say, Andy Cuomo. Another guy like his brother Chris on CNN, the Cartoon News Network, born on third base and thought they hit a home run. This Cuomo, by the way, we're going to rename the Tappan Zee Bridge. It's been named that since it's built, and I'm going to name it after Daddy. Yeah, that kind of guy with that attitude. Just passed 2 weeks ago, he did it in the Trends Journal and our Trends in the News broadcast, slipped into legislation to give him sole authority over we the little people of New York State. I'm going to tell you what to do. You do it the way I want you to do it. We're closing down every businesses. And you go to Michigan, you go to California, you go around the country. One little low-life piece of garbage crap, Democrats and Republicans, that are now our leaders, and we're following their orders, totally closing down the economy. This has never been done before. Again, it's not only Wall Street that was going down. Mainstream went down simultaneously. That's unprecedented. Usually the markets go down, and then the ripple effect starts hitting the street, the main street. This time, boom, they're both down. Because I'm the governor. I want everybody to close everything you got over there. And here's a great line. How about making up this BS line? We're going to call it, for all you people that swallow crap and like to eat it, social distancing. Isn't that a nice one? When this whole crap started, I don't want more than 500 people to gather. I don't want more than 250 people. Now it's down in Germany. You got 2 people can't be on the street together. Achtung, yeah, Heil Hitler. All right? And now let's put the facts together. Hey, but it's okay. In New York, going back to this arrogant guy playing dictator, we're closing down all the businesses, but an essential business, you know what it is? Liquor stores could stay open. Liquor stores could stay open. You know why? These are the same slimers that gave us prohibition in the 20s, but lifted it when the Great Depression came in 1933, because we got to get that tax money in. Because we don't work for a living. We're politicians. We don't never work a day in our lives. We're politicians. We need your tax money. So keep drinking that booze because we tax the hell out of it. Because if we didn't tax it, it would be about 60, 80% cheaper than it is what you're buying it. So now let's go back to the dictators. Social distancing. Hey, I could go in a liquor store. I could give the guy money, right? Thousands of people could go in. I could go into supermarkets. I'm giving people, I'm right next to them. That's okay. That kind of social distancing is okay. But we're going to make up social distancing laws to put you in line. And all of those cops out there that used to love to bust your chops when you had a drink too much, according to their levels, now they can't arrest you anymore. So now they're arresting you for being too close to people. Yeah. And in Italy, the same thing. Spain, the same thing. One country after another. March to Mussolini. Salute Stalin. Heil Hitler. What Constitution? What Bill of Rights? Shove it, Celente. I'm in charge. I am your leader. And all the sheeple follow. It's a disgrace. How many people have died, Greg, globally? From the coronavirus?
It's in the hundreds of thousands, a few hundred thousand.
No. Totally, 17,300 people have died from the coronavirus. This has been going on now since what, 2.5 months? How many people died last year globally of the flu? According to the World Health Organization, only about 650,000. How many dying of air pollution each year? Oh, only about 9 million, according to the World Health Organization. How many people are dying of food poisoning? How many people are dying of so many other... Hey, you like all those pesticides they put on your food? How about those chemicals in the water, in the air, in the earth? How about those GMOs? They're fine for you. But coronavirus, and then you look at the facts. I'm only going by the facts. The people that are dying in Italy are elderly in their 70s and 80s with previous chronic conditions. And the younger people that are dying also have chronic illnesses.
What about this package that Congress just passed? Everybody's happy. The stock market is shot around like a rocket. It's just, well, happy days are here again, and it's a couple of trillion, 2.5 trillion, something.
It's going to it's going to boost the equity markets. They're going to keep giving money to the trading houses, the hedge funds, the banksters. You know what happened the last time. They pumped in $29 trillion. That's with a T. Secretly, following when the Great Recession hit in 2007, 2008 to 2010. This will artificially inflate the equity markets. Meanwhile, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed my children? They closed down my country. I don't have a job. How am I going to work? This money is only going to go to the gangsters, the banksters, just like the last time. You know what happened. All these BS low-life politicians bragged about how they built up the economy. This is, I'm no fan of Bernie Sanders. I'll give you free education. He's a jerk. But, if Sanders gets elected, we're going to have socialism in this country. Hey, you got socialism for the rich, capitalism for we the people. We the people have to make it on our own. These bailouts are for the rich. Just like I said, the facts prove it. All of the money that was dumped into the economy following the Great Recession went to the 1%. Capiche? The same thing is happening. That's what will happen with the $2.5 trillion.
Are we going to, you've been using the word depression. So even with this week, this big vault up on the stock market, you're saying don't buy it. We're headed for a train wreck. Is that right?
It's going to be worse than the Great Depression. It's the greatest depression. Look, before all this happened, hey, remember all those people protesting in Hong Kong? Hey, you forget about the ones over there in France? What about Chile? You ever hear of Colombia? What about Peru? Hey, how about South Africa, Algeria? How about Lebanon? How about one country after another? People taken to the streets because they're broke already. All the money went to the 1%. They don't have basic living standards. They were revolting before this happened. Here, just some back news here. Las Vegas anti-homeless ordinance enforcement begins. This is February 17th. The law was passed in January. You think you got a homeless problem? This is before that happened. How about this? You look at the OECD sounds corporate debt warning. This is, again, before the coronavirus. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, blah, 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 has issued a report detailing the rapid rise of corporate debt and the dangers it poses for the world economy in the event of an unexpected rise in interest rates or a recession. Interest rates are now down in the toilet, but not a recession. How about a depression? Hey, look at those wonderful oil prices. Look how low they are, right? All that money the shale industry borrowed. Again, we write about this stuff and been writing about it before all this happened. The debt levels are phenomenal. You have over $250 trillion worth of global debt. And all of the personal debt. Hey, how are you going to pay that credit card debt? What do we have in the United States? What is it? The 13-something trillion or something? Or yeah, what is it? And how about that student debt? And how about the car loans? And how about the mortgages? And how about the electric bill, the phone bill? I'm out of work. My governor said I should stay home. Hey, while that little jerk is running around looking at people, too many people who's out Saturday. You're too close to each other. You're too close to each other. While all his flunkies are around him. Hey, how come you're not social distancing from the little lowlives that suck up to you and bow down to you? And I say that firsthand. I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate at 25 years old. It was the worst job I ever had in my life, watching grown men grovel to suck their way up to the top. And that's who we have running and ruining our nation. A bunch of political lowlives.
You think that, so you think this whole coronavirus deal is either they did it on purpose, it's a bioweapon, I don't know, but you're saying they are playing this to the hilt so they can gain control because everything was in the toilet. Everybody was revolting in Hong Kong, in France. The UK was having people getting teed off. So everybody was getting ready to revolt, and this is a way for them to control the public globally. Is that right? Would you explain that if I am right?
You're 100% right. And the people that started this, again, it's in our Trends Journal. You look at the headlines when all this happened. We said prostitutes and propagandists political propagandists peddling hysteria. The media started this. They're the ones, you've been there. You know what it is when there's a hurricane coming. They all get dressed up in their hurricane drag, and they're out there. There's a hurricane coming off the coast of Miami. It's 350 miles away, and it'll be here in a week and a half, and the water's going over the boardwalk, and the trees are blowing over. You look at the ratings of the mainstream media before they started hyping this crisis. They were down in the toilet where all these prostitutes belong. But then they started hyping it. Oh, look what's going on in Italy. Look what's going on in Italy. Okay, so what now? About 5,000 people have died in Italy. Again, look at the data. All elderly, all infirm before, all ill before this happened, in one area where it's highly polluted. And how many people live in Italy? 60 million, 5,000 dead, total place in lockdown. You can't go out in the street. You know what they just came out with yesterday? You're not allowed to go jogging or bicycling. You have to stay in your house. Same thing in Spain. How many people are dying? Again, how many people are dying of all these other diseases? Oh, how about water pollution? Hey, you folks in Flint, is it you're still drinking that stuff? And all over the world. You look at the number of people dying from water pollution. But we're going to forget about that stuff. We have some hysteria to sell, and the sheeple are going to buy it. And they're buying it. Again, shove your social distancing up your New Year what when you're telling me I could go into Walmart. Hey, you like that job in Amazon, in that big warehouse with all those people around you? That's fine. But no social distancing.
Where do you think they are going with this? I mean, is this going to be over soon? Some people think we're going to be back to normal. Are we going to be back to normal? Or what do you see coming down the road? Some people are thinking there's going to be a big bond market crash, that the debt payments aren't going to get paid. In this bill, they have the Federal Reserve printing money to pay for mortgages, car payments, credit cards. I kid you not. I mean, the Fed's going to print money to pay for everybody's bills? I mean, where do you see us going with this?
It's not only the Fed, they're doing it all over the world. You have negative and zero interest rates. You have countries dumping in this phony money. That's why we're going from dirty cash, because they're going to say, don't touch that money. Don't touch that. I see it. I see it all the time when I go out to buy anything. As soon as the person takes the money, then they take the stuff and they rub it on their hands. The next one, then they rub it on their hands. They got people freaked out. They're going to give us digital trash. That's what they're doing. They're going to get rid of the currencies that they have. Greg, you mentioned how much the markets went up. How about gold prices? They bounced back $200 from Friday. Because the reason gold prices went down is because people were taking their money that they made in gold to cover their losses, their margin calls, their shorts in the equity markets. They're going broke. That's why gold prices went down. I've been following gold. My first buy of gold was in the late 1970s at $187.50 an ounce. And, you know, I've been forecasting this stuff. I'll put my track record up against anybody's. You go to our Trends Journal, June 6, 2019, the gold bull run has begun. Gold was at $1,332. And as we're speaking now, it's in the mid high range of 1600s. It hit 1700. The reason gold prices went down again was because they had to bail out of gold. They needed the dough. Now the smart money is seeing the fake money being printed, and they're going into gold. That's gold prices. Now hear this. Now hear this. Just like you have these low-life, slimy pieces of crap politician robbing us of our Bill of Rights and our constitutional rights, they're going to go after your gold. They're going to go after your gold. They're going to try to steal your gold. They did it in the last Great Depression, and they're going to do it in the Greatest Depression. You mark my words.
Do you think that people will be allowed to? I mean, it's going to be awful hard for them to take back, gold eagles that they sold you since 1986, aren't they? Aren't they going to have a hard time? Being everybody in Congress, I'm sure everybody in the Senate has a big old, basket of gold eagles. Do you think they're going to be able to take your gold eagles back, or are they going to take everything else back? Mining, bars, Krugerrands, Maple Leafs. Give me your appraisal of that.
Everything, just like they did the last time. And if you have it in a safety deposit box, well, you can't go in there, terrorists. We got to go through we got to make sure that those safety deposit boxes are clean. Whatever story they're going to make up, they'll make up. Look what they're doing. You just mentioned the sickness of them pumping out $2.5 trillion. Where the hell are you getting this money from? Where are you getting the money from? Screw you. I don't have to tell you where we're getting the money from. We're making it up, just like we make up all the other crap. Oh, and don't forget, if you believe them, you also believe that Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. And we got to get that guy over there, that Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan, and we're going to start the longest war in American history and have no end in sight. The reason I'm mentioning this is because just as they have no exit plan when they start all this other insanity like wars, they have no exit plan with this. You got a bunch of psychopaths, sociopaths, pathological liars, freaks, cowards, and fools running a government near you around the world.
Do you think that we could get the war card turned over on this? I mean, we've had some pretty nasty little fights over in the Middle East with Turkey and Russia, and our proxies. Our troops have been attacked by the Iranians. I mean, we got kind of a knotted up mess over there, don't we? It's still
knotted up mess that we have no business being there. You mean the one in Iraq where they're killing our troops when the war based on lies? That one,
something like that.
You know what I've been saying for many years. Currency wars, trade wars, depression, world war. History is repeating itself. And just as the people are marching to the orders of little low-life politicians now, they'll Heil Hitler, they'll march to Mussolini, they'll salute Stalin, they're bowing to Conti, to Sanchez. They one after another. By the way, I'm no fan of Trump's. I'm no fan of anybody's. I like what one does. I don't like this. I look by the facts. I agree with Trump 100% because I've been saying it since its beginning that the cure is going to be worse than the disease. They are going to destroy they are destroying the global economy. They're destroying people's lives. We are going to see crime levels that are unimaginable. Why do you think people are going out and getting guns? Oh, and this is what else is going to happen. As the crime level escalates, then they're going to come out, all of these people, these neoliberals, we got to have more gun confiscation because crime is going to escalate. Deaths are going to go through the roof. Again, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. You're going to see gangs being like we've never seen before. On the other end, by the way, the issue of opening the borders, that's a closed story. They're closing borders all over the world. So you're not going to hear people saying, let them in, let them in. That's over. So
good point.
I agree with Trump. We should go back to business as usual. Get yourself in good health. How about that for a change? You look at the people that are dying. The people that are dying are in poor health. It's as simple as that, like anywhere else and like every other disease. Can I get hit? Can you get hit? Of course we can. There's always the wild cards. You never know. But to stop the entire global economy and have a bunch of stupid, ignorant, low-life politicians telling us what to do without one shred of scientific evidence, without one shred of quantitative data, making up social distancing crap. Hey, you ready? Watch out now. You may report me for this. I just coughed into the microphone over here. You're going to get sick now. And it's going to spread to everybody listening and watching. All right? That's how sick the crap you can make up, and they'll buy it.
What's the timeline on this depression scenario you're talking about?
Now.
I mean, if you look at
it's happened. It's on now.
Okay.
Wait till you see earnings come out next quarter. Oh, we're not going to give you earnings. Hey, how about the airline industry? How about all the people working in it? How about the restaurant industry? And then they say, oh, the restaurant, and you think about the chefs and the dishwashers and the wait staff. And hey, how about the people delivering the food and the truck drivers that deliver it? How about the people that make the food that sell it to restaurants? How about all those that are going out of business? Hey, how about all those stores that are closed, all stocked up with product? What are they going to do with all of it? And how about all the other product that we have out there? You're going to see prices go down the toilet. You're going to see a deflationary period, but it's going to be inflationary because the currencies aren't going to be worth anything. You have an overstocked already. Home goods go into it. Go into Marshall's. Go into Target. You can't. What are they going to do with all the product in there? And all the product that's been made that you can't. Oh, antiques, art, automobiles, vintage automobiles. Prices are going to go down. Sotheby's, forget it. Bye-bye, Sotheby's. Real estate, collapse. Oh, and you're also going to see more and more people leaving densely populated areas to escape because they're in fear.
The prospect for you are a political atheist, I know. I know you're not for any party. You're not for Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent, although I lean right because I'm Christian. But you probably lean a little right because you are Christian.
Well, I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace. Yeah, that's why I fight.
Okay, so my question is this: you handicapped. You were there was only half a dozen or so people I talked to that came out and said Trump's going to win. Mark Taylor was one. You were one. There's a couple other people that said Cliff High. There's a couple other people that just that called it. A lot of people were just laughing at me. I mean, they gave me a grief because I said Hillary would never be president, and they were just laugh. You remember that poll, with ABC News and little George stuffed cash in your pants was saying Hillary Clinton's up by 12%, and he actually in his own poll on the air live went, well, it may not be that high, maybe just 6%. 6 points. But anyway, you're handicapped the what's going to go on this fall. Are we going to have an election? Is Donald Trump going to win? Is Joe Biden going to win? Are they going to substitute Mario or Andrew Cuomo for that? What's going to happen?
You may have nailed it with that Andrew Cuomo one. And but we're going to have to see what happens. It's really hard to. Again, this is a wild card.
So you don't have a prediction right now.
It's a wild card. I would still go with Trump at this point.
Huh. I mean, if
it's Biden and Trump, the reason Biden's not going to win, besides of who he is he has to win the swing states. In order to win the swing states, he has to get young people out to vote, and young people aren't going to vote for old man Biden. They're not going to go out. They're not. They haven't gone out. You look at the results already. Yeah. They haven't turned out.
And you got deep political chops. I mean, you do great on the economy, great on the policies, great on the geopolitics, great on the long term, but you have big political chops too. I just want people to know that. And you're saying no way for Biden, and you're saying they might substitute Cuomo, but I don't think a New Yorker can win in a lot of places. I don't think Cuomo can win.
Well, he could bring out the youth vote.
Maybe.
And that's gonna happen. But again, it's really up in the air. I think here's what I see happening.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question. What would you say? How do most of the people feel about this? What do you think the general feeling of the population is about the coronavirus? What do you think they feel?
I think they feel it's not as bad as they're making it out to be, because they don't see the massive. You got people wearing rubber gloves around my area, and you have people, one hand free and one hand whatever. But I think people think it's not as bad as they think it is, and the facts you laid out and the facts that are out there say it's true. And I think that this chloroquine and the Z-Pack combination is gonna put the kibosh on it real soon, I think.
All right. So here's what the reason I asked you that is because right now people, a lot of them are accepting it, and a lot of them, well, I'm not so sure. When shock sets in. When people can't pay their bills, I already have tenants that aren't paying their rent.
Oh, yeah.
Now multiply that times hundreds of millions. Multiply it by the world by billions. So when shock sets in, I think there's going to be a real rebellion against the ruling class. However, saying that, when this thing plateaus and not that many people are dying from it, the political scum are going to say, well, the reason nobody died like the levels that we saw were going to happen is because of measures that we took to save you. That's going to be the other side of the equation. This guy Cuomo, let me see if I can find it here. Here he goes. Cuomo said up to 80% of New York could become infected.
Wow.
He's a genius. This guy is a genius. He's a medical expert. Hey, if Cuomo said it, why shouldn't I believe it? You read the arrogance of this guy when he closed down the schools in New York. I believe the city schools should be closed down. I believe. That's the way he started. I believe. Oh, if you believe, then I have to believe. The city schools should be closed down. And you know what he ends it with? Period. In other words, don't you question me. Now, being that you close down all the schools, and I got to pay ridiculous school taxes for a disgusting, moronic education system, by the deeds you shall know them. You see how we don't even win place to show in OECD metrics compared to other school systems around the world. Why should I pay teachers and other civil servants that aren't working? Why should I pay them their wages when the people in the hotel next to me and the restaurants are all out of work and they're not getting paid? Why do I have to pay teachers that are out of work or government employees that are out of work? Why do we have to pay them? Oh, they're better than we are. That's why.
And you think that
there should be a revolt. People better stand up and fight for their freedom. I was talking to Judge Napolitano. He is totally outraged about what's going on, about the robbing of our constitutional rights. And he outlines all the ones that are being, this is against the Constitution. It's against the Bill of Rights. They have no right doing this to us. How about we, the people?
Yeah, and you think it's by we get to this is going to get worse. The depression. You're calling it depression right here and now.
It's on.
Okay, so you're calling it depression right here and now, and how this is going to get worse and worse, and we're going to get some euphoria for this $2.5 trillion package. But you're saying, forget it. Don't expect good times. This is going to get worse.
How again? Every business is closed down. We've never witnessed anything like this in history. We've never witnessed anything close to this in history. Nothing. The sorrow, the sadness that's going to throughout the world as people are losing everything. And as I said, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And you're going to start seeing them lose it. There's another good element to this, by the way, if it's taken into order in a proper way. One of the things that I believe in is direct democracy. I was not put on this earth to take orders. I believe in a Swiss system where we, the people, vote. You want to close down the state? Let the people vote. No, I'm the governor. Screw you. You're a public servant. Oh, by the way, I'm doing an interview a week ago Saturday on Ohio Station, and they said, Mr. Celente, we are going to be interrupting soon the honorable governor of Jack the Jerk, whatever the hell his name is. I said, what's this honorable governor? How about public servant? So going back to this, do I have to look up to a McConnell or a Pulsey or a Schumer or a Lindsey Graham? Why should they be telling me what to do? I want direct democracy. Now, being that they've instilled all this fear in us and you need social distancing, hey, you can't get on those polling lines anymore. If you could put trillions of dollars across the globe on a daily basis through blockchain technology. I think we stopped over here. Something happened.
Hold on. You're good. The shot's frozen. We got a little trouble there. Hold on. I'm going to come in with you here. Oh, you're back. So if you could put blockchain, let's go ahead and we'll wrap it up because I don't know what the connection is. But we can put.
Okay. So now with blockchain technology, and you could transfer trillions of dollars across the globe in milliseconds, we could vote online. This is an antiquated system that we have going to the polling places. And don't, oh, it's going to be hacked. It's going to be hacked. Well, they're still counting the votes in the midterm election, So this is the good thing of it. We should have direct democracy. Let we, the people, decide. So that could be a good element of this.
And what should people do now? People look at this and go, oh, my gosh, what should I do now? What do I do? What do I do? A lot of people are buying toilet paper, which I don't understand. But what should people do listening to this?
I think people should stand up for their rights, and people should should think for themselves and stop listening to their politicians. People need to get in the best shape they can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The fight's on. Game's over. And if you don't fight, you're going to go down. They march you off to war. They're going to march us off to war again. And just as the people are buying this, they're going to follow again. And as I say, it's Gerald Celente's GC's 3Gs, guns, gold, and a getaway plan. And the motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. I'm not telling anybody what to do, what to buy, or how to buy it. But I could tell you, I could see the real estate market collapsing at levels we cannot believe. I can see retail collapsing at levels we can't believe. You want to buy the malls? The malls are going to be, they were dying already. They're going to be deader than dead. So start looking, if you're an investor, start looking at the shorts and the longs. Interactive education, something I predicted in my book, Trends 2000, back in 1996. Big, big, big trend of the future. With more people staying at home, more people will be doing homeschooling. So if you're going to invest in that kind of market, look at the markets where it's already growing in Asia. Take a look at the companies that are making the advancements in interactive education. If you want to invest in something, think about those. And you go short on the other ones that are going to go down.
And gold, I have long said that if gold got, I don't remember your metrics, but we've passed them all. So your metric, I think it was 14 something, and when it gets
1450.
That's right. And then you said when it starts hanging above that, it's going to go. Where do you think gold and then silver will go? Because you mentioned it, guns, gold, and a getaway plan. Where do you think gold and silver prices are going to go on this fiat system?
Silver's going to lag behind because so much of it is used in manufacturing, but it will still rise. Gold, I can see gold. My next metric is when gold breaks solidly over $1,730 an ounce, and it stays there for a little while. It's going to shoot toward 2,000 and above. We can see gold prices going to the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range
in the near term.
Yeah,
and then
and then within it, very important. Go back to 2007, 2008. As the collapse was happening, gold prices stayed down because people had to sell everything they had, including gold, to cover their losses. So we may go through that period just like we went through it a couple of weeks ago, covering their shorts and their margin calls. So gold may stagnate just for a little while. But when the reality hits of what has come down, I see gold as the ultimate safe haven asset. And who would buy a treasury when you're in negative and zero interest rate policy, and you're going to be buying treasuries that negative yields that are going to pay when you cash them in, they're going to give you less money than what you bought them for. So I see gold as it, and silver follow.
Gerald Celente, you can read it all in the Trends Journal. You are the publisher of the Trends Journal. I'll put up the sign-up page and also the website. There's some free information there. It's a weekly. That's what I will be in the pre-interview. I was just, so you're a weekly. Ooh, that's a lot of work. As a journalist, wow, you're putting out the kind of stuff that you're putting out every week. It was quarterly when we first started interviewing with you, and then you went to monthly because you had so much work, and now you're a weekly, and the price, I don't think it's really changed very much. What a deal. Yeah. I don't get paid anything. I don't get anything. I just want people to know. Gerald does not give me anything to promote this. I just like him. I think he's smart. I think his publication is good, and I put up his stuff. So, Gerald, thank you very much for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
And thank you, Greg, for having me on and letting me speak the way I feel and believe, and for what you do with so many other people, giving them that opportunity. to give people insights and observations that are unavailable just about anywhere else. So thank you so
Well,
much.
I mean, listen, sobering talk, and you're an animated guy, and you're very colorful and all that, but underneath all that are facts. And
All
so,
facts.
you can. I don't want people to get lost in your performance, which is you're very interesting to watch. I mean, dude, you're very interesting to watch, and you're very smart, and you got a lot of facts. So, Gerald Celente, thank you again for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Thank